Guy like you's really gotta fuck up to land here with me.
You, might want to secure that weapon, Deputy, before one of these gentlemen takes it off you.
I always enjoy seeing dirty cops end up on my bus. It reminds me, the system works. Enjoy the ride, detective.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back down to the basement. So I got my hands on a copy of Battlefield Hardline, and I thought I would never play a Battlefield game that I actually liked. Okay, so Battlefield Hardline, let me start off by saying I am not a Call of Duty or a Battlefield fan. I've never been a major fan of the games. I never got into the series, and to some I'm sure that's an absolute sin. But I'm just telling the truth here. It's never really been my thing, and many people haven't really convinced me. Me, honestly, I prefer alien, monster, and futuristic type first-person shooters over the regular average shooter. You know what I mean? But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little curious as to why the series is so popular and why it has such a giant and loyal following. Now, that said, I played Battlefield 3. I did. It was a very tough game because it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 bullets, you're done. And I mean, it's so goddamn difficult for me that I wonder how someone actually had the patience to sit and finish it. But I know most people play these games for the multiplayer, for the online. So Battlefield Hardline caught my interest because it's not your typical Battlefield, which pissed off a lot of its fan base. I hear a lot of people like hating and giving this game very low ratings because it's not what their fan base is used to. It feels like an alternative Battlefield game, an alternative shooter for people who are not true fans of the series but they like decent shooters, away from the regular field combat, as if they're trying to appeal to gamers outside of the same old blueprint, the same old mantra. War chaos, by going for a more cops and robbers, cable TV-like feel. The prologue, followed by, you know, the opening credits with the characters, just like you're watching an episode of Law and Order or CSI. Okay, so it's got like an intro. It's supposed to give you a feel like you're watching a show on FX, pretty much. It's got a episode by episode kind of feel for a series that's just thrown on TV. Okay, so I see the whole FX feel they're going for, or Spike TV kind of feel they're going for, the whole storytelling. See, going for that seedy underworld Miami Vice-like setup, which it does decently in my opinion, it feels like you're watching a show on FX or Spike. It goes in episodes as each chapter you complete throughout the game, starting with the previous episode clips leading into the one you're about to watch.
Previously on Hardline.
What we have is a network of cops, military contractors, and border patrol. By paying us, you get access to that network.
If we get this phone into one of those briefcases, we can track it.
You want to steal Dawes' dirty money before it gets laundered. Sounds fun, actually, but you're on your own.
Yeah, the whacked Kang might be an old friend of mine.
You get started?
Figured you could probably use a hand back here.
With its decently polished cutscenes, voice acting, and somewhat predictable storytelling, as we've seen these kinds of shows and movies done before. It's your straightforward, good cop, dirty cop, everyone is on the payroll storyline, with some seediness in there, with just enough to keep you interested in the outcome following the season, with side changes, victim of corruption, and honor to the badge dilemmas, as you would expect from a cop game. The characters feel like B TV actors, as I'm sure that's what they were going for. It feels like they were going for an indie TV show feel the way they were telling it. Hell, if you notice, Benito Martinez is the captain, just like he was in the show The Shield. So you may see some famous actors in there in the more indie market. Your character, Nick Mendoza, is your typical good cop, thrown into the underworld of Miami, tested with drug money, and a chance to profit from the drug trade. Naive, and he's not really sure who's pulling the strings. Slowly being pulled toward a setup. And when he is, he goes rogue, holding on to those protect and serve morals, going after the greater threat while exacting his revenge.
Nick, we tried! I was so certain that we would find a place for you with us. But no. You're convinced that you're just one of the good guys, aren't you? There's no such thing, son.
And the story mixes in well with the gameplay, in my opinion, with these dialogue segments in mid-play, not filling the game with constant cutscenes when it doesn't need them, when it has them in unneeded areas, which actually made my play experience better. It kept me more engaged, considering it keeps you on your toes as it throws you in these sticky situations and think fast moments during them.
Oh shit, from what? Oh. What the fuck? Hold on, wait a minute, what?
Are these guys?
Oh shit.
Armed suspect, engaging.
13 reporting gunfire downtown. Elmar Hotel.
He's headed up the stairs. Watch that door. Don't let him run.
Who the fuck is behind me?
For example, like when your partner takes a bullet and you've got to keep pressure on her wound while awkwardly shooting enemies coming at you. I rather enjoy these.
To apply pressure. Like this?
I know. Just hang in there.
Why don't I just torture her while I'm at it? Why don't I just pull out some damn pliers?
Dick. I'm not leaving you. Fuck off!
Of course. Oh shit. I started to say, are you actually shooting anything over there, or are you just looking nice?
Or you fuck up because your fingers are too slow and you're confused when you have control of your character again, because you don't know if you're using him right then and there or if that's a part of the cutscene, so sometimes you take a bullet. Now the graphics do look a little bit dated even in 2015, but that didn't bother me too much considering the game, the game from time to time loses polish in some areas. It does. It's noticeable, depending on where you are. It'll go from like 100% to 50% polish, simply by you going into a different room sometimes. But in my opinion, the cutscene visuals are pretty damn solid. I mean, and I found these tense moments rather satisfying. Just during gameplay from time to time, it's very noticeable, the decrease there, when it's losing some of its graphic edge. It looks like very shaded and no work was done sometimes. It's weird. I prefer gameplay over visual sex, but I'm just saying you will see it lose polish from time to time. The gameplay, I thought, was pretty solid. I like the gunplay. I like the controls once you get them down. The shooting isn't too difficult. It actually becomes quite addictive once you get it down. I can understand the addiction now with its smooth cover, running, and one of my favorite is to run, slide, and shoot, because the AI sometimes they're not really good shooters depending on what difficulty you play on, whether that be cadet, normal, or veteran. The AI isn't too good of a shot when you're like ducked behind something or whatever, but if you're standing or you're running away, the AI is really, really accurate sometimes. So I'll be running and in the midst of me taking cover, I'll take one last bullet to the head or something, or they smoke you out, which I fell victim to this at first because I didn't quite understand, what the hell was what. because not all games make it obvious that they're throwing a grenade or something or shouting, "Grenade!" They just snuck and threw the damn thing, and I didn't even know I was choking to death.
Ah, goddamn, motherfucker!
I'm going here. He's around here somewhere.
Sheesh. What the fuck happened? What? What, did I bleed out? Ah, fuck out.
But I love that, and it makes the combat very intense as it puts you in these survive moments where Nick is stuck in certain situations where he has to last, or he has to get out of a certain place or wait for the alarm to go off, and you have to basically sit there in a survival mode as hordes of enemies, well, I won't say hordes, but groups of enemies come at you.
Hey, turn off the alarm.
That's not gonna work. You got bad guys coming at you.
Oh, shit. He's there! Hey! Over there! Over there! Do this!
The AI, it's pretty decent. It's not completely, like, blithering fucking idiot like the guy in Raccoon City. Another feature about Hardline, of course, Nick Mendoza being a cop, he can basically walk up to unsuspecting enemies and he can hold out his badge and he can go freeze. The enemies, they will stop and put their guns up. They'll put their guns on the ground, hold their hands up, and Nick is free to arrest them and they won't be a threat to you anymore. But it's kind of weird when you arrest them, considering they don't try and shout out for their other buddies or anything like, "Hello, this motherfucker's arrested me." Instead, Nick just handcuffs them, puts them on the ground, and they go to sleep, not warning everybody else that, hey, there's a cop here. And this is also weird, considering Nick will walk up to like a group of enemies. It'll be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, and Nick will hold up his badge, and all of them will drop their guns, and for some reason Nick has an unlimited amount of handcuffs, and you can just arrest them all instead of getting into shootouts. Which I know a cop would rather not have to have shootouts with enemies in real life, but this is a video game. And I just noticed, like, Nick can go through half the game just arresting everybody. You don't even have to have a bunch of shootouts. So basically, I just walk up, hold my badge, and I'll just arrest everybody till I get to the end of the game sometimes.
Keep him up.
Look at that. Arrest after arrest. I don't even have to shoot at you.
Police.
And what's he got? Unlimited handcuffs? Wow, you can go most of the game without blasting a goddamn thing. You could just cuff everything and be done. Hopefully it becomes harder to do that. Otherwise, you know, why am I carrying a gun the whole damn game?
But it is weird sometimes. Some guys may not, you know, put their hands up. They might try and run away or try and shoot at you then and then run. But half the time everybody drops their guns like idiots. You know, it's one cop with no backup, so, and there's like 20 of us, but we'll all drop our weapons and he can pull out his unlimited handcuffs and just cuff us all and take us to jail.
Stay right where you are.
That's right. Drop them, assholes. Drop them. Drop them. Don't shoot me, even though you've got submachine guns and I've got a little bitty pistol with 10 bullets in it and you could have blown my fucking head off. But nope, let me arrest you. There's only 2 of you.
Stop.
Yep, nope, no shooting me. Ah. You're not allowed to shoot me.
Also, Nick carries around an evidence scanner, and this is the one thing, it kind of annoyed me, considering Nick has to analyze a certain number of evidence in each area you get it. So say you go into an area and you have a nice shootout with everybody as you're going through the story. Nick can't progress out of these areas until he's collected you'll see like 0 out of 3 evidence collected. He has to walk around in these areas with this damn scanner and analyze certain things, and sometimes it's not obvious to where the fuck it is. So you can be stammering around, looking around for this evidence to analyze before you can even get the fuck out of the level. And then when you do, it's not really that important unless you're a person who likes reading notes that you find, like this is classic Resident Evil, or listening to audio logs. It's really not that important. But I don't know, as a cop, they make you work in these empty areas. I don't know. I find it kind of annoying, considering sometimes I'll be in the middle of a firefight and I got the damn evidence scanner constantly blinking, telling me evidence here, evidence here. And it's like, I can't do that right now when I have a fucking big ass truck out here with a guy with a fucking Gatling gun destroying the walls. I have to focus on them right now. So sometimes I just wanted to pull that damn evidence scanner out and break the goddamn thing. And sometimes it's kind of, I couldn't get the control right, because I know you have to hit one of the triggers to do it, and I'm so used to games where you hit B to get out of things, but B is the duck. So I'm just like, I'll be ducking in the middle of a firefight with the damn scanner on, because when you got the scanner on, Nick, he can't have a gun in his hand, so I'll be getting shot at trying to hit him with a fucking scanner. So in a way, the scanner is a little annoying.
Okay.
Scan to see if there's any evidence we can track back to Tyson.
Investigate the room. Open scanner. What, on the cheeseburger? Jeez. I wonder what info we can get out of that, besides somebody's a hungry son of a bitch. Oh, wrong button. Wrong button. Wrong button. Wrong button. Okay.
Also, when you go to these areas with all these enemies, the scanner pulls up information on certain guys that are in there. These guys have warrants on them, and you get, special bonuses that lead to, it's just bonus points you get if you can arrest these certain guys that it analyzes. But, these are a challenge to do. I took on the challenge to try to, sneak up on them and arrest them. But sometimes, when the shootouts and the bloodbaths happen, I don't have time to arrest them. I just blast them like everybody else. It's not like you take any penalties or anything, but the warrant thing I kind of liked. So Nick has his standard pistol, and he can have his secondary weapon, whether that be a machine gun or shotgun or whatever. And you unlock these weapons simply by picking them up off the dead bodies of enemies. And you can, customize them, with a certain amount of points or whatever before you start your mission. But honest to God, all the enemies go down pretty damn simple. It's not like I need to make this super freaking awesome machine gun with like 50 damn attachments and be great, because as long as you're a good shooter, you're already pretty damn tough. The enemies are not that damn strong. They're not. And they're not that skilled unless you're, like I said, standing and running, and you're not a person who takes cover all the time, and you're just dumb muscle who stands out there to get shot because you think you're invincible. But the enemies are not that tough, and I didn't really need to use a lot of these attachments. However, it is interesting to look at, games where they add certain slots for you to put things to attribute to your weapon. It's interesting, but I don't think you really even need that system. But it feels like another thing put in place to appease its regular loyal fans, which I don't think they even like the game. Like, seriously, putting scopes and lasers on shit, it don't matter. The enemies go down pretty simple if you give them a few good shots. You don't need a super powered shotgun to blow one motherfucker's head off when I can do that with this pistol. Which I went through half the game with Nick's standard pistol half the time, because the pistol seems to be the most decent weapon. Yeah, the machine guns, the shotguns, all those are pretty good, but it seems like the pistol conserves and has the most ammo throughout the whole game. It seems like those other guns, they run out of ammo so quick, even if you have decent accuracy. So that may have just been my experience, but most of my playthrough, I did much better with the pistol. I lasted longer with the pistol than most of these other guns, but still, they're nice to have. One thing that's very tough for me is I don't like first-person driving or first-person jumping, because it gets me all messed up. This game throws you in a driving sequence in the beginning of the game, and it basically just teaches you, here, swim. It doesn't teach you the controls or anything unless you're, I don't know, a Battlefield expert and you already know from the previous game, or you know the controls. But for somebody like me who's never played it, there's no control display when you're starting these driving sequences, and they drove me nuts.
Oh, please don't make me first-person drive. I fucking hate that. And I'm first-person driving. It is so Oh, see, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. I didn't even get started. Look at that. Back. Where the fuck did he go? Where the fuck did he just go? Oh, get the fuck out of here. Where the fuck did he go? Dude. Ah. Where the fuck did he go? Oh, this fucking smoke. You can't see. Can't see shit. These smoke clouds, you freaking lose your target if you're not careful.
But from time to time, I can see how they tried to throw in some Battlefield aspects into a game that it doesn't really feel like Battlefield. For example, there's a chapter where Nick has to use a tank in a tank fight with one of these bounty hunters. And I don't think the game really needed a tank segment, but I know it has to appeal to some of its Battlefield faithful. I don't think it needed a tank, and it didn't need all this other military hardware like tanks, helicopters. I don't think it needed all that. It's its own deity. It's its own individual cop game. But I know that, you know, their Battlefield people make up most of their revenue, so I know they put those into appeal to them. But I didn't think they needed some of this stuff in here. The game got a lot of hate, and I don't see why it got a lot of hate. I mean, it felt pretty smooth. It had good action. It had interesting stories. Sometimes it's a little over the top with its action segments, like that whole building fiasco when they're trying to slide out of the building. Some of that shit was so crazy. It's like, oh, come on, man. Now we know no human being could have survived that. Come on.
Holy shit! You alright?
But these games are known for going over the top at these just surviving by the freaking nick of your hair moments or whatever. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. I know this has been a thing with you guys. But in my opinion, I didn't think it was a bad game. So Battlefield Hardline, I'm going to give it a 5. It's a good game. I think it was a very good game from its good action, its interesting storytelling, its good TV-like feel, its grungy cop world, good guy, bad guy. I thought it was pretty good. It's a game that should be separate from the Battlefield series. I don't think it's a Battlefield game. It feels like another game that should be thrown into the good cop, bad cop genre. I don't think it has any affiliation to do with Battlefield outside of guns and tanks, and it doesn't belong in that category. It didn't feel like I was playing a Battlefield. It felt like I was playing just a decent, tense, thriller cop shooter, honestly. And I don't think it was half bad in my opinion. I enjoyed it. You can like at CrossRealm the Basement on Facebook, and I am CrossKittySue on Twitch. You can follow me there. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys next time down here in the basement.